Good evening. Today's been another balmy January day. We're kind of getting used to this weather across the area. One thing we can't get used to, though, is that blowing snow. Once again today, open areas have been having a lot of problems with that, especially during the evening when the winds were at their strongest. In particular, a report from around Argyle where the snow was causing a lot of problems, blowing and drifting and causing a lot of icing of the road surfaces. Several stations in northeast North Dakota also reporting the same thing. But aside from that, the weather is pretty nice out, fairly balmy. 40s over parts of North Dakota. Bismarck hit 41, Rapid City 51 degrees, and 52 down at Norfolk, Nebraska. So very mild air just to our south. Of course, the ground is bare down here, nothing but brown, no snow anywhere near it. Where we have the snow on the ground, temperatures retarded a little bit. Still a warm-up in progress, while just to our north, temperatures quite a bit cooler. Winds very strong and gusty out here in the eastern slopes of the Rockies around Livingston, gusting to 67 miles an hour. Our westerly winds will continue, and it looks like another day of mild temperatures is in store. 31 official high at Grand Forks today, 10 below this morning. There's Devil's Lake, Grafton, Winnipeg, everybody getting pretty nice weather today. Thief River, Warroad 23, and about 2 inches of snow reported in Warroad today. Bemidji high of 29, International Falls around an inch of new snow and 20 degrees for the high. Other reports from Minot, Bismarck, Jamestown, and Valley City all dry today. And finally, Detroit Lakes, 20 below this morning, warmed up to 29. Fargo hit 34 today. Duluth a high of 20 with about a half inch of snow and still snowing there. Twin Cities a high temperature at 37 degrees, but it may all be changing. There's a storm system entering the Pacific Northwest, Alberta, British Columbia, and back over the ocean. Lots of wind, it looks like, with this system. Usually when we have such a strong temperature contrast like we did across the area, cold weather in Canada, very mild air in Nebraska, that's a warning sign, danger, there might be a storm coming. But this time not necessarily so, because the jet stream is not going to use that. It's blowing basically parallel to the temperature gradient across the area, and so while it may be a fairly windy storm that's moving in, don't expect very much in terms of snowfall. On the national map, show you how it looks right now. Lots of clouds increasing out in western North Dakota, mostly just the high, thin cirrus type. National radar superimposed, not finding much of anything. A few thunder showers over South Florida, and that's about it. We do have a pretty strong system up here, though. As I mentioned, it's mostly a lot of wind. The reason being it's fairly deep low pressure, while there's fairly strong high pressure now over the central Rockies. The low is expected to track right along the U.S.-Canadian border and then into the Great Lakes area, typical Alberta Clipper fashion, but it won't have a lot of cold air to work with. What it is going to bring us is more wind. Tomorrow, low pressure near our area, high pressure in the Rockies, lots of strong winds beginning out of the west. Looks like we could have a lot of blowing and drifting snow, much worse than it was today by tomorrow evening. I'll check the forecast in detail right after this.
The weather, brought to you by Creative Impressions and your local home of economy.
Tired of the same plain old thing? Give your wardrobe new life with color and a creative design from Creative Impressions in Devil's Lake. Add excitement to your t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, and caps by choosing from the many designs Creative Impressions has on hand. If you have your own design in mind, Creative Impressions has an artist to help you create it. Whatever the message is you want to show off, create an impression at Creative Impressions in Devil's Lake.
Home of economy, where your dollar buys more.
For all your ice fishing needs, visit the Home of Economy in Devil's Lake. You find everything for warmth and comfort, like snowmobile suits, cold weather boots, and ice house stoves. Home of Economy has ice augers and all the accessories you'll need. Rods, reels, lures, line, and tackle boxes. All at your Home of Economy, Devil's Lake.
Home of economy, where your dollar buys more.
Still pretty mild in parts of the area. For example, Bismarck 26 degrees, 21 at Detroit Lakes. Fargo now has 20, Devil's Lake reporting 15, Winnipeg 7, 13 up in Warroad, 11 at Thief River, and 20 degrees right now at Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. Dew point 17, 88% humidity. Pressure rising, the wind's not quite so strong now, northwest at 9. For tonight, it looks like not too much of a problem with blowing snow, although roads are still icy. There may be some light patchy fog developing toward morning, as temperatures stay mainly in the teens to single digits across the region. Then as we move into tomorrow, we're going to see increasing winds, especially by afternoon. Light snow or flurries possible as well with blowing snow. West winds 15 to 25. Temperatures pretty nice, though, back into the 20s. Tomorrow night could be a very serious problem. In fact, travel may become almost impossible, as blowing snow is expected to reduce visibility at times to near zero, with northwest winds 20 to 35. Fortunately, temperature's not all that cold, and we're not going to see much snow. On Wednesday, still blowing snow, a problem, highs in the teens. The extended forecast, if we didn't have wind to contend with, this would be a rosy forecast for January. But as it stands, looks like winds tomorrow night and Wednesday, and maybe some more winds or some flurries about Friday. We'll have the rest of the news right after this.
Every good farmer starts the year with a rotation plan. But before you know it, prices change. Weather changes. Next thing you know, the government's helping. That's why you need a herbicide that keeps your recropping options open. One that gets this year's weeds, not next year's beans. So forget carryover. Remember Blade X, only from DuPont.
The Village Inn restaurants of Grand Forks and Moorhead have a new weekday special. A breakfast special available anytime and made especially for those who just can't get enough of a good thing. The Skyscraper breakfast is 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, or 2 sausage links, and all the pancakes you can eat for only $1.99. The Skyscraper breakfast, served anytime Monday through Friday. From your Village Inn restaurants in Grand Forks and Moorhead.
Looking for some exercise but don't think the weather will let you? Well, as Terry Doolin explains, the Grand Forks Park District's step-by-step walking program has a new twist this year.
Even before the doors to the mall's shoe shops and designer dress stores swing open, dozens of winter walkers are making tracks. They average 3 miles a morning. Their average age is 69.
Watch out or I'll run over you. I'll run you down.
This year, to add interest, some of these folks are walking around the state of North Dakota, 825 miles without leaving the mall. All caught up in the centennial spirit, apparently. The Park District's new Walk the State program seems to have everyone especially motivated this winter. Even after triple bypass surgery a year ago, 73-year-old Helen Ellegard and her husband Clarence are just about halfway around the state.
We're about 32 miles west of Williston.
And they're not alone.
We're 313 and a half miles the end of December.
So you're about where?
Williston.
Most people are, I would say, between Minot and Williston. But our fastest walkers are heading into Watford City.
As they figuratively pass through the different North Dakota cities, walkers pick up souvenirs and travel information from places like Rugby and Devil's Lake along